I built this live SEO report with Claude. It has rankings, Google Search Console traffic, Google Analytics revenue, AI visibility, and even proof screenshots that your clients can click into to validate their rankings. And I built this whole thing from one prompt. For this build, you only need 4 things: Google Search Console, Google Analytics, Claude, and the Keyword.com MCP. But the real magic comes from one Keyword.com feature that turns this from a normal report into a report that your clients can verify for themselves. And that will save you so much time. First, let's start with setting up our MCPs. This whole workflow runs through MCPs. If you haven't used MCPs before, think of them as a way for Claude to connect to your tools and pull data from them directly. For this report, I connected to 3 data sources: Google Search Console, Google Analytics, and Keyword.com. Let's start with Keyword.com. The Keyword.com MCP can help you pull ranking data, as we can see right here. It can also pull AI visibility data, and most importantly, it can pull the SERP screenshots that your clients can click into to validate their rankings. Instead of telling them you're ranking number 3, they can directly go into the report, click on the see the keyword in the search results icon, and validate for themselves their own rankings. That's a huge trust builder. To connect Keyword.com, just follow our MCP setup instructions on Keyword.com, which I'll post in the description. Add the MCP server to your Claude configuration, and Claude will be able to pull visibility and ranking data directly from your account. Now let's load up Google Search Console. This gives the report your organic performance data: clicks, impressions, CTR, and average position. So this part gets a little technical, so bear with me. I'll try to do a walkthrough. What you want to do is go to Google Cloud Console, and then you're going to create a new project. And then once you've created the project, you're going to search for the Search Console API, and you're going to enable that API. Then what you got to do is create a new credential. So what we're going to do is create a credential for OAuth. Here, we're going to choose desktop app, and we can name it something that's like GSC MCP, for example. And then create this OAuth client ID. I'm not going to do it here because I don't want to expose my credentials. And then download the JSON file onto your computer. All right, so this next part gets even more technical, but basically we're inside of the terminal. And for this next step to work, we need to have Python, right? So I already have it downloaded, but what you can do is actually type this out, which will tell you whether you have Python downloaded, yes or no. So I do have it downloaded, and once we do have it downloaded, we can just do this command here. All right, and so once we've installed that, what we'll be able to do is actually paste this here. So what we're going to do is add the GSC MCP, right? And we're going to scope it to user, which means that we can use it, across multiple directories. Right, and this is where our client secrets file lives, okay, in this file here. So I'm actually specifying that. Okay, then launching that, right? So once that's done, what we can do is we can actually open up Claude, and if we open up MCP here, we should see, there we go, user MCPs, we see GSC. So use GSC to my Google Search Console account. Okay, so we're going to do that. So once we've done that here, we'll be able to actually log into our account. Okay, we'll be able to allow the GTM MCP. Okay, and there we go. Now it's actually authenticated. As you can see, we're now in our Google Search Console account, right? With access to these properties here. And so now we can actually just start querying Google Search Console and get data directly from Google Search Console inside of Claude. So the third MCP we want to connect to is Google Analytics. This powers the conversion and revenue side of the report. The setup is similar to Google Search Console. In Google Cloud Console, you enable the Analytics API, create your OAuth credentials, connect them to your MCP configuration, and authenticate with the Google account that has access to your GA property. Honestly, connecting to Google Search Console and Google Analytics is probably the hardest thing about building this report. So I'll link a few resources in the description to help you out. Once those MCPs are connected, Claude can pull data directly from keyword.com, Google Search Console, and Google Analytics and build a report for you. For this example, I deployed the report on Astro because this is what our website runs on. But you do not need to be using Astro, and you don't need to be a developer to make this work. If you're on WordPress, for example, you can just paste the HTML into an HTML block. If your site is custom built, you can just add it as a static page. And if you're using another CMS, the same idea applies. Claude gives you the code and you just apply it wherever you want the code to live. Now let's take a look at the actual report. At the top, we have the headline numbers for the week. We can see organic clicks, average position, AI visibility, and organic revenue. This gives the client a quick snapshot of how SEO is performing without making them dig through multiple tools. Then, as we scroll down, we get to the live keyword rankings. This is where the keyword.com data becomes especially powerful. The clients can see keywords being tracked, their current positions, and how those rankings changed over time. But the key part here is this button here. When the client clicks on that, they can open the actual SERP screenshot that keyword.com recorded when the ranking was scraped. So they're not just seeing a number in a report. They can verify the result for themselves. Rankings can vary by location, device, personalization, and timing. So when a client sees a ranking without proof, they sometimes question it. With keyword.com's SERP screenshots, you remove that friction. The client can click into the screenshot, see the search result, and understand exactly where that ranking came from. This saves you from having to manually explain or defend the data. Below the rankings, we have the Google Search Console traffic chart. This shows clicks, impressions, CTR, and average position over time. And just like inside Search Console, you can toggle each metric on and off directly on the chart. So if a client wants to focus only on clicks and impressions, they can do that. If they want to just see how CTR moved over time, they can toggle that on as well. Then we have the AI visibility section. This shows how often the brand is appearing across AI search surfaces like ChatGPT, Google AI Overviews, AI Mode, and other platforms. As more search behavior moves into AI, this is becoming a metric that agencies will need to include in their SEO reporting. And because this is coming from keyword.com, you can add it directly into the same report alongside traditional keyword rankings and organic traffic. To the right, we have conversion events pulled from Google Analytics. So the report does not stop at rankings and traffic. It also connects SEO performance to business outcomes like conversions and revenue. And then one of my favorite sections is the completed task log. This is where you list exactly what was done for that week. For example, technical fixes, page optimizations, keyword research, reporting, strategy work, whatever tasks were completed for the client. I added this because based on my conversations with SEO agency owners, one of the biggest reasons why clients churn early is because of a lack of visibility into the work the agency is doing.
What's your secret to turning these one-time contracts into recurring long-term partnerships?
A lot of agencies will sign a client up and then they won't do anything for so they will do stuff, but they won't communicate what they're doing with the clients within that first month. They'll kind of just hit them with a strategy at the end of the month. When we sign a new client up, the goal is to deliver as much value as you can within that first month. So we're not necessarily saying we're gonna just get them ranking overnight, because that's very rarely the case. But what we do is send them quick wins.
The agency might be doing the work, but the client doesn't see it. And when clients do not see what's being done, they start to question the value. This task log fixes that. Every week, the client can open the report and see not only the results, but also the work that was done. So this report gives clients three things at once. They can see performance, they can verify their rankings with real proof, and they can see the work that you've done. That combination makes this report so much more useful than a static dashboard or a PDF. And the best part is that you can fully automate it. Once the MCPs are connected, you can schedule a Claude agent to rerun the report every Monday and bring in fresh data. You can also connect that to an automated email so that Every week, you can let your clients know that their report has been refreshed. And there you have it, a full SEO report built with Keyword.com, Google Search Console, and Google Analytics, and brought together by Claude. It shows rankings, traffic, conversions, AI visibility, proof screenshots, and completed tasks all in one place. If you've enjoyed this video, do me a favor and subscribe to this channel to see more AI and SEO workflows like this one.